Well, I've done 2 videos now in the past where I've gone into detail about fishing for bass with live prawn and using a bubble float. And what I'll do in this video, as this video plays along, I'll get them to come up in the top right hand corner of the screen now for those of you who are interested. But just to quickly go through again the setup that I've got. Basically, it's just a lure rod. It's a 9-foot lure rod. This is a 20 to 60 gram. Just got a lure reel, 4,000 size lure reel, and in my case it's loaded with 15-pound braid. And then joined to the end of the braid, I've got a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader, which is about twice the length of the rod. And the bubble float that I'm using, brilliant bubble floats, is an inline bubble float, and line just runs straight through the middle of it. You've got a plug there to plug at the end to fix it in place, so very easy to adjust the depth. And for this fishing, I'll be fishing at depths of, let's say, from 4 feet to about 6 feet, so fishing in fairly shallow water. So the leader's running through the bubble float. The bubble float is filled up half with water to give it its weight. I can't remember what that weight that gives it. I think it's about an ounce, so enough weight to cast out. And then down to the business end, down to the hook. In my case, I've just got a size 1 fine wire hook. It's a very strong hook, but it's fine wire. The reason it's fine wire is so that you don't want to destroy the prawns when you're hooking them on, but it is a strong hook, size 1. About 1.5 foot from that, I've just got a bit of split shot. Optional, you don't have to use it, but I like to use it. Bit of split shot, and that to help keep those prawns down. But as I said, I'll go into much more detail in a couple of the other videos. Okay, we'll get started. It's bright today, afternoon tide, really bright, which is not brilliant, but the good news is it is a good tide. It's a spring tide, so there'll be a bit of movement. Got a really light wind, so I don't have to worry about trying to cast out into a wind. So fingers crossed, we'll at least catch a bass. But yeah, this is definitely my favourite way to target bass. Now, to hook the prawns on, quite simple to do. Just come back about 2 segments, come up from underneath at about the 2nd segment, from underneath and up through the middle. Just simple as that. And what I'm going to do is, I've got a mix here. I've got some really good sized ones and I've got some medium sized ones. So what I tend to do is put more than one on. Sometimes put 2, 3 or even 4 on at a time. And if it's one of the big ones, then just put 1 on. So up from underneath, a couple of segments back, roughly, and then up through the middle. Right, it's about half an hour before low water, so I've just managed to get here. I wanted to actually start fishing earlier than this, but couldn't make it. But at least I'm going to catch the start of the flooding tide. Lob that out, and I'm just going to let it drift. The breeze is pushing it onshore, but the current at the moment will be taking it right to left. The water, we've had some really rough, terrible weather, nothing but rain and winds, and the water. This is the first day of reasonable weather, but it's back windy again the next couple of days, so I'm grateful to get out. But the water's still quite murky, but that's not a problem. It's clear enough for them to see the prawns, but also, of course, they've got the noise when they move. They've got that clicking sound, which will attract the bass, or hopefully will attract the bass. What I'm doing here is I'm letting it drift. It's drifting parallel. It's coming in a bit because of the onshore, but I'm letting it drift as far as I can, where I can still see it. Unfortunately, with the red bubble float, it's got good visibility, particularly when it's calm like this. A bit more difficult when there's a bit of a chop, but so I'm just letting it drift until basically I struggle to see it. All right, so I'm struggling to see it now, so we'll bring it in and then cast it back up tide. Some of you may be thinking, well, why fish a bubble float? Why don't fish a conventional sliding float? Well, I do go into detail in one of the other videos, but just to briefly explain, I like to fish the bubble float when I'm fishing fairly shallow, in fairly shallow water. When I'm setting the depth, let's say no more than about 5 or 6 feet. Basically because of its simplicity, you just slide the float on the leader. It's self-weighted, but by just filling it half of water, so you don't have to worry about adding weights. So it's a very simple rig. Through the float, plug it to whatever depth you want, and then tie your hook on the end. But if I was fishing in deeper water, I mean, the depth here in the time I'm fishing is probably not going to get more than about 10 foot, 12 foot maybe, depending on how much of the flooding tide. But if I was fishing in deeper water, let's say I was out on a kayak fishing with a live prawn in about 20-25 water over a reef or something, over some rough ground, then yes, I would use the conventional sliding float to have that ability to get that bait down if I wanted to. But this is just great. I mean, it's so simple, and it's just fun. Looks like we're in for the first fish. Missed it, but never mind. Good sign. Yep, it had the prawns. Right, got it this time. That was basically almost as soon as it hit the water, down it went. I don't know what sort of size it is. Right, get it unhooked. Well, not a big fish, but never mind. Caught the first fish, so this is really promising now, and keep trying and hopefully get a better one. But yeah, beautiful little bass. Yep, and it's gone away fine. Well, I cast that out and I thought, Did that prawn come off during the cast, which can happen if you put a bit too much force into it? And it obviously didn't, because within a few seconds, down the float went. This, yeah, maybe a little bit better. Yeah, I think this one's going to be the best one so far. Nicely hooked in the scissors. Yeah, that's the best one so far. Well, just out of interest, I'll measure this one, just out of curiosity, and it goes 39. Oh, this is fun, that's for sure. Yeah, great fun. Just waiting for the bigger ones, if there is any, to move through. But I'll stay here for a bit. Let's put this nice prawn on. I'll stay here for a bit, and then I may have a move. We'll see. Right. The float went and then popped back up again, and I thought, oh, that's had the prawn, but I thought, no, leave it, and obviously it hadn't, or the prawns, and came back for it, or another one did. Nicely hooked, lip hooked, which is great. Gone straight away. Yep. Within, oh, that's probably within, I don't know, 30 seconds of that float hitting the water. Is this a better fish? Yep. Now the tide is flowing. I've got a sort of a wind against tide situation, and whereas before, where I had wind and tide in the same direction, more or less, the drift was really quick and I was having to cast a lot. Now basically, it's holding in the same spot. The float's staying static in one spot, the wind coming one way, the tide pushing it one way, the tide pushing it the other. It's actually making it easier to fish, even though I'm static, because I'm not having to cast so much. I've just got to hope, fishing static like this with no drift, the fish actually move through this particular spot rather than me maybe drift to them. But it's just saving me having to keep recasting every sort of 5 minutes. I was having to recast because it had drifted so far down tide. But it's going nowhere at the moment. I was just thinking, it's suddenly gone really quiet, and we've got another one. What size is this one? Ah, that's I don't know. I thought when I first saw it, I thought this one's well, I think it is. Might make the best of the day. And away it goes. Well, I've still got plenty of bait left, so I just keep trying. just keep going. It's great. It's certainly fantastic sport. And as I've mentioned before, absolutely deadly way to target them. Just what I'm just hoping for. I've had great small sport with these smallers. I'm just hoping that just one or two better ones just move through here, and I can pick one up. But if I don't, then still had great sport. But I've had it before when coming here, where I've come 2 sessions. Took me 2 sessions catching loads of bass before I picked up the bigger size one. So you just got to keep trying. Well, I'm going to call it a day now. The fishing's gone completely dead now. There's not a sign of anything. So call it a day. So I've had a lot of fun catching those bass. I don't know how many I got in the end, but couldn't find the big fish. But not to worry, I had fantastic sport with those small bass. Once again on the bubble float and the live prawn. And what a fantastic evening to end the session. So once again, I hope you found that useful, and many thanks for watching.